In a small, almost forgotten corner of the city, there was a tiny coffee shop that most people walked past without even noticing. It was nothing special on the outside, old sign, faded paint, second-hand furniture. But inside, it held a story that would change one woman's life forever. The owner was a poor single mother named Emma. She worked from early morning until late at night just to keep the lights on and to feed her young son. One rainy evening, a quiet man walked into her cafe, looking exhausted and defeated. Emma had no idea that this stranger would one day buy her entire coffee shop as a way of thanking her for a cup of coffee she gave away for free. Emma's life was not easy. Her husband had left when their son, Liam, was still a baby. Since then, every bill, every worry, every late night belonged to her alone. The cafe had been her dream, a place where people could sit, talk, and feel a little less lonely. But dreams are expensive. The rent kept going up. The old coffee machine broke at least once a month. Some days she sold just enough to cover beans, milk, and electricity. Other days she went home knowing she would have to choose between paying a bill or buying something extra for her son. Still, Emma tried to keep a smile on her face. She knew most of her regular customers by name. She remembered their favorite drinks, asked about their days, and slipped in a free cookie when and now when someone looked particularly sad. She believed deep down that kindness mattered, even when the world wasn't very kind to her. At a table in the corner sat Liam, Emma's 8-year-old son. Every afternoon after school, he came straight to the cafe, did his homework at that same little table, and waited patiently until closing time so they could walk home together. He didn't complain that they rarely ate out. He didn't ask why he didn't have the newest phone or the latest sneakers like some of his classmates. He just watched his mother work, hour after hour, day after day. Sometimes customers forgot to notice him, but he noticed everything. The way his mom's feet hurt when she finally sat down, the way she tried to smile even when the tip jar was almost empty, and the way she would always say, "We're okay, Liam. As long as we have each other, we're okay." Liam believed her, but the unpaid bills stacked up in a drawer Emma tried not to open. One particularly cold and rainy evening, the cafe was almost empty. Only the soft sound of rain against the windows and the quiet scratch of Liam's pencil filled the room. That's when the door opened and a man walked in. He looked like he had been standing in the rain for a long time. His clothes were soaked, his hair messy, and there were deep shadows under his eyes, like he hadn't slept properly in days. Emma greeted him with the same gentle smile she gave everyone. "Good evening. What can I get for you?" The man hesitated, glanced at the menu board, and then quickly looked away. "Just a small coffee," he said quietly. Emma noticed the way his hands shook slightly, the way he reached into his pocket and touched something, maybe a wallet, maybe nothing at all. There was a heaviness around him that Emma recognized. It was the same weight she had felt the day she almost lost the cafe to unpaid rent. When Emma told him the price of a small coffee, the man quietly opened his wallet. Inside, there were just a few coins, no cards, no bills. He counted them carefully, his face tightening for a brief second when he realized he didn't have enough. "I'm sorry," he murmured. "I thought I had more. I'll just get some water." Emma didn't think twice. "Don't worry about it," she said softly. "The coffee's on the house today." The man looked up, surprised. I don't want to take advantage," he whispered. "You're not. It's just coffee. Sit down, get warm. Everyone deserves that much." She poured him a fresh cup, added a little extra cream, and placed it gently in front of him. He sat at a table near the window, holding the cup with both hands as if it were the only warm thing in his world. For the first time that day, his shoulders relaxed. The man sat there in silence, sipping the coffee slowly, watching Emma move behind the counter. He noticed the tiny details most people ignored. The way she smiled at her son every time she walked past his table. The care she put into cleaning the old machine. The way she carefully straightened the tip jar, even though there were only a few coins inside. After a while, Liam brought his empty cup of hot chocolate to the counter. "Thanks, Mom," he said. "Can I help you close tonight?" "You already help me more than you know," she replied, ruffling his hair. The man watched them quietly, his eyes reflecting something like recognition and maybe a memory of his own past. When he finished his coffee, he stood up, walked to the counter, and thanked Emma again. "You didn't have to do that," he said. "Maybe not," she answered. "But sometimes people need kindness more than they need rules." He nodded slowly. "You're right," he said. "Thank you for the coffee and for that." Then he left, disappearing back into the rain. Months went by. Emma almost forgot about the quiet man from the rainy night. After all, she saw so many faces pass through her little cafe. Business did not magically get better. Some days were decent, others painfully slow. The landlord hinted that he might raise the rent again. The coffee machine broke twice in the same week. Emma thought about giving up more than once. But every time Liam looked at her with those hopeful eyes, she pushed the thought away. "We're okay. As long as we have each other, we're okay." She didn't know that somewhere else in the city, the man she had helped was building something much bigger than her tiny cafe, and that he had not forgotten her kindness. The quiet stranger was not just another lost soul in the rain. His name was Ethan, and he was the founder of a rapidly growing coffee and hospitality company. Months before visiting Emma's cafe, he had gone through a personal crisis, a burnout, a health scare, and a betrayal by a business partner. For a while, he had disappeared from his own world, walking through the city alone, trying to remember why he had started any of it in the first place. On the night he stumbled into Emma's cafe, he had left his office without his wallet, without his cards, almost without a sense of purpose. Her free cup of coffee and the warmth she showed a complete stranger had stayed with him. In a life full of meetings, contracts, and numbers, that small act of kindness felt more real than any business deal. As his company expanded and he began looking for new investment opportunities, one thought kept returning. "I wonder if that little cafe is still open." One afternoon, when the sky was finally clear and the city felt almost gentle, Ethan returned to the little cafe. The sign was still there, a bit more faded. The paint was still chipped in the same places, but the warm light inside was the same. When he walked in, Emma almost didn't recognize him. His clothes were different, his posture straighter, his eyes brighter. "Hi," he said softly. "I don't know if you remember me." As he ordered a coffee and paid for it this time, he reminded her of the rainy night, the free coffee, and the kind words she gave him when she thought he had nothing. This time, when he reached into his bag, he didn't pull out an empty wallet. He took out a folder. Inside were documents with his full name, company information, and an offer. Ethan wanted to buy her cafe, not to close it, not to replace her, but to save it. "I'd like to invest in this place, pay off your debts, renovate the equipment, and make you a partner in a new brand we're building." Emma stared at him, speechless. "Why?" she finally managed to ask. Ethan smiled. "Because once, when I had almost nothing left, you gave me coffee, warmth, and dignity for free. You didn't know who I was. You were kind anyway. I'd like to return that kindness with interest." Weeks later, the cafe looked almost unrecognizable. Fresh paint, new chairs, a brand new coffee machine that didn't break every month, a new logo on the window, one that carried both Ethan's company name and Emma's. The unpaid bills were gone. The landlord suddenly became very respectful. Liam watched as his mother signed papers that made her not just an overworked cafe owner, but a true business partner. Customers kept coming, old and new, drawn in by the smell of fresh coffee and the warmth that had always been there, now wrapped in a more beautiful package. Emma still slipped free cookies to people who looked like they needed a good day. She still remembered names and favorite drinks. The only difference was that now she could go home at night knowing that tomorrow was not a question mark anymore. Ethan visited often, not as a savior, but as a friend and partner who had never forgotten how much a small act of kindness meant to him on his darkest day. And in that little cafe, one simple truth lived in every cup. Sometimes the smallest kindness given to someone who seems to have nothing turns out to be a seed planted in the heart of someone who can change your whole life. The world often tells us to only be kind when it's convenient or when someone looks important. But Emma had no idea who Ethan was when she handed him that free coffee. She simply chose to be kind. Would you have done the same in her place? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Undercover Karma for more stories where quiet kindness and hidden power finally meet.